So welcome to Celeste Inspires. This is the fourth video, actually, that I'm doing on osteoporosis. And here I'm going to talk about what are some of the things that you don't want to do when you have osteoporosis or in osteopenia. And I have my dear friend Monica Soderstrom, who is a certified Pilates teacher and many, many things. Also in Switzerland, a physiotherapist, nutritionist, and nurse. So the qualifications behind this camera looking at me are so rewarding and supportive. And I'm so grateful you're here, Monica. Thank you. So I'm going to go through the things that you want to be careful not to do if you had osteoporosis. So one of the things that we make sure we don't do is roll on the spine in yoga, for example. That's the first thing I want to go through. And the reason is there can be little tiny fissure splits in the vertebrae, on the inside of the vertebrae, and it can't be detected from a x-ray. And so sometimes somebody with osteoporosis will lose a lot of height over a short period of time in a year, and they'll get an x-ray and it doesn't show that there's anything wrong, and yet there's these little tiny fissures of splits in the bone on the inside. And this can happen from doing something like this, where in yoga, and this is something I teach every day, we'll draw the legs in and we'll rock back and forth. So anything that you're rocking on the vertebrae, as you can imagine, is a risk. So that would be a contraindication. The other thing is that when you bend, you want to hinge right from the low back. So there's not a rounding of the vertebrae for the same reason, because of the potential for breaks on the inside of the vertebrae. So if you were doing a forward bend, and of course there's all the ways to do a forward bend. It could be seated, it could be standing. You would attempt to lift from the low back, and that might be hard. So you could always use fingertips. And you want to have that space in between the ribs and the hips, so that you're keeping that lift here. Now I'm pulling the toes back to help to lengthen the legs. And if if the hamstrings are really tight, then just feel free to bend the knees. In fact, you could even bring the heels together and kind of pull yourself up. And when you fold forward, if you can get a real reach forward up instead of rounding down. So you keep the low back quite flat, and that will really assist in keeping that space in between the facets of the vertebrae. So that's quite helpful. The other thing that's not allowed is any strong spinal twist. So I'll just show you a typical spinal twist in yoga. Are my feet in the camera if I take them out there, Monica?
No, that's good.
Yeah. So if I'm doing a spinal twist and I'm stretching this side of the body, a lot of people will do quite a strong twist. The elbow will come down, they'll come up, and they'll rotate. That's what I do because it feels really good. But that may be too much pressure, once again, on the facets, on the vertebrae of the spine. So what you could do is you could even come up tall like this and use the bend of the elbow to pull you up, and make sure you're on the bum bones as much as you can, and absolutely feel free to lift from the spine. And then you could turn the head, because that's going to help to direct the spine a bit more. Just avoid going too far. So this would be a very good way to stretch that side of the low back and to get some spinal twist. And spinal twists are extremely important for digestion. Often people develop osteoporosis because of the reduction, which can be 40%, of estrogen during perimenopause and menopause, mainly menopause. And the reduction in estrogen will really affect the gut health, the biome. There's a lot of reasons for that I won't get into. That's a whole separate talk. I suffice it to say that a lot of women will have reflux, acid reflux, indigestion, bloating, discomfort in the gut. I can really relate, and I had no idea it was a reduction in estrogen. And doing spinal twists really kept me regular. I never had any problems with pooping in my whole life, not even when I was pregnant, I think just because of all the bending. So spinal twists are really good for digestion, and so are forward bends. anything that is squeezing in through the ascending and the descending colon, okay? So the ascending colon is on the right side, the descending colon is on the left side. In fact, when I do a Thai massage, I was working with a woman on Monday. She's having a lot of digestive issues, so I worked on palm pressures all the way around, starting at the descending colon base and coming around all the way up and through the ascending colon. So watching that, any forward bend, you stay tall. Monica, what else could I mention that is important not to do in osteoporosis?
I think you've been talking about flexing forward, you've been talking about rotation, avoid crunches.
Avoid crunches, thank you. So
for the same reason
perfect.
As you said in the introduction.
So in the Strong People class that I run here, we do about 5 minutes of core, we do a lot of this. So instead of folding here, what would you suggest, Monica?
I would suggest to put the head down and find the widest part of the head on the mat. You can also have a little support there with a towel, whatever, and make a neck plank. You will try to find your head like neutral, which is a small head nod. It's only the two upper vertebrae that are moving, and then you're stabilizing the neck. And I wouldn't even go in a crunch. No, I wouldn't do that. I would do other stuff instead, like working with the lower core and also softening the part under the rib cage, so you can kind of roll in the ribs, the lower ribs.
So pull them in there.
Exactly, and the lower ribs. So you're kind of exactly like that. So if you lower the lower ribs, then you're really stabilizing the whole spine. If you're just pressing down the widest part of the head, just gently, like you do like a head nod, then you're stabilizing and strengthening the neck muscles as well. And you can also have the hands by your side, palms facing down and pressing down a few %. And then you can feel, how much you're engaging your body. Don't jam anything. Okay. And then I will focus on the lower core.
It's kind of like a half a giggle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're really pulling in there.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why you are here, because your instructions are so comprehensive.
Oh, yeah.
It's so helpful.
You're the super pro.
So, and I feel that. I really feel the core contracting.
And you can always use the exhale to deepen the upper core.
Yeah. Whoa. Now, what about dead bug? Is that allowed?
Oh, yeah.
So
super good.
Okay.
The same position. Remember, I call it the neck plank, but I never jam. So you feel the length in the neck and the shortening of the neck muscle in the front. And then you can do the dead bug.
Yeah, you know what? I find I do this one really, really, really slow. Mm-hmm. The micro slow, I really can't let go there.
Yeah.
And if I go a tiny bit more, there's momentum.
Yeah.
So I find, here we go. I find I go really slow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really strong actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then for those that are advanced, could they do both?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
But if you want to modify, that's advanced for sure. You can read and use the exhale to really connect with the back and the mat.
Wow.
So you kind of connect.
Really
and if you would modify everything because you are not strong enough, I would just have my legs and arms up. And just stay there. You can be you can be there or bend your knees depending. I would probably bend my knees and really try to connect the lower T-spine with the mat. And you can kind of use your exhale, to do that. It maybe moves a little bit, and then you can roll the shoulder back and down, and then you're kind of reaching, and then it's almost like a plank.
Okay. So I'm doing I'm drawing my hands up to the ceiling, and then I'm coming back.
Well, that's a movement, that's an exercise, but if you want to be like a plank, you just, I will roll the shoulder back and down, almost hug my thoracic spine with my shoulder blades, and just hold there and remember the neck plank, And then you can hold for 30 seconds, for instance. That's hard work if you're not.
It's hard work to breathe.
Yeah, and then use your breath, and the abdominal muscles are moving. That's good, but try to be connected and knit your core together. So that's the modified part, and then you can progress by doing what you were doing from the beginning, bringing one arm towards your eyes, but try to connect the thoracic spine with the floor when you do that. So, and then go back to start position, and then do the other one.
Wow.
So if you go too much, if you would bring your arm too much over towards the head, you would pop your ribs, and then you're not connected anymore. And then go back.
That's really clean.
Yeah.
That's really clean.
So this is, super good if you have difficulties doing the plank.
Yes.
Because the plank in different version, that's my favorite for osteoporosis, osteopenia.
Oh, that's really strong.
But this is super good. This is super good.
Wow. Okay. That's very good. I was also talking a lot about the relevance of high intensity interval training for those that can, that have the musculoskeletal strength. And so I did that in my last video. It's osteoporosis pep talk. And I've been doing high intensity interval training for about, I think, 4 weeks now, and I really like it. So high intensity interval training, it's where you go all out, like you can't do another second. And you go as all out as you can for 1 minute, and then you take a 1 minute recovery or 5 minute recovery, depending on your ability. So you're attempting to create basically a huge stress response, positive stress response in the body, that it has to adapt to the amount of power, agility, balance, strength, muscular endurance. So you're working all those components of fitness, and you're going all out. And I mentioned in the last pep talk about the relevance of strength training, and I talked about my history of strength training and how I think that is exactly why the bones are doing so well, even though I have osteoporosis. The muscles that are attached to the bones are strong, oxygenated, toned, so they are supporting the bones well. So high intensity interval training is extremely good, and what you would do is you would slowly work up. So for example, in our high intensity interval training during the strong people class, which used to be strong women class, and then we changed it to get everybody here, we do like a jumping jack, right? Okay. So, and we do like a kick out, and sometimes we come up, and I do all kinds of different stuff with the arms and the legs. And for about half of the students, they do it with one leg on the ground, okay? So they keep up the agility factor, but they make sure that they're keeping their, they need to keep their leg down because of the muscles in the legs are not strong enough to support what's happened in the knees, right? So there's been some degeneration in the knees, or the knees are weaker, the ligaments have changed. Knees are a culprit for all of us usually, and I'm going to take back that word. They tend to be a part of our body that we consider a weak link. And it just means that as time's gone by, the ligaments are not as oxygenated, they're not as strong, and they can't support the patella, the kneecap, the upper and lower legs of muscles, bones rather, of the legs. So making sure that if you do high intensity interval training, that nothing hurts. I found the first 2 weeks my ankles were sore because I prefer to exercise without running shoes. And now I've noticed that that's strengthened, those muscles have strengthened in the shin. So those are some good factors. So I'll leave you with that, and then we'll go to our next osteoporosis video. Thank you.